On Thursday this week, when the Gen Z took to the streets of Nairobi to demonstrate against the the murder of one Albert Ojwang, a young man, a teacher who was murdered by the hands of the police at the Nairobi Central Police Station, a lot of things happened. But one scenario unfolded which left a lot of Kenyans wondering. It was an accumulation of anger that Kenya had gathered over time, trying to deal with extrajudicial killings and abductions that have been ongoing in the country. Now, the fingers for the murder of one Albert Ojwang were pointed towards DIG Langat, Eliud Langat, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Langat. Now, Langat was named as the main suspect in this saga, but the police the IG and the government refused to take action against him. And now, the demonstrations took over the streets of Nairobi. What began just as a mere show of anger from young Kenyans who gathered at the Treasury offices when the CS of Treasury, John Badi, was expected to read the budget, turned out to be a humongous crowd because few hours later, Kenyans gathered in the streets of Nairobi in large numbers. Now, what surprised a lot of Kenyans is the turning up of goons who came and invaded the Gen Z demonstrations, where most of them were just demanding for the justice of the late Albert Ojwang. But what they didn't realize is that there was a plot to infiltrate them by the government. Before Thursday, on Wednesday, at Bunge la Mwananchi at Jivaji, Raila Amolo Odinga's die-hard and former Bunge la Mwananchi president Calvin Gaucho, who calls himself Gaucho, warned the Gen Z from trying to interfere with the budget reading of one cabinet secretary, John Badi. He said that he will be having his battalion that will be protecting the premises of the treasury. But the Gen Z could hear none of the said threats that were given to them by Gaucho. So they took to the streets, not knowing that infiltration had been planned and had succeeded. When the demonstrations started taking a new dimension, or the pressure started mounting on the police, and they were unable to contain the gathering crowds, something happened. Buses filled with goons from different ghettos in Nairobi drove into the city and dropped the goons there. Those goons came with machetes, rungus, and stones, preparing to invade the demonstration. And that is where you saw some of them trying to vandalize the city, trying to break down dustbins that were installed in the city. They even burned two vehicles which they themselves had been given a go ahead by the owners of the said vehicle to touch the said vehicles. Now, our online DCI, or our online investigative team, has tried so much to uncover who was the real power behind the infiltration of the Gen Z on Thursday this week. Because the Gen Z finished their demonstrations and went home, promising that if DIG Langat and an action is not taken against him by next week, then on Tuesday, they will be back in the streets demonstrating. Now, when I say our online investigative team did their work, this is what I mean. According to the intel that I am seeing, it's a leaked WhatsApp group of the Nairobi County Inner Circle, the group called the Nairobi County Inner Circle. And it was a conversation between the governor of Nairobi County, Johnson Sakaja, and the CEC of Nairobi County, Geoffrey Mosiria. Remember Mosiria, after the vandalization of the city, he was seen taking pictures and recording videos of the said dustbins that had been vandalized, asking questions that why could Kenyans destroy the city they love? But to our surprise, according to this leaked screenshot, it shows that this was a whole orchestrated scenario that Mosiria and the governor were all a plot of. And their main man to bring the goons in town was none other than Calvin Gaucho. Now, allow me to read this screenshot to you so that you will understand the angle we are taking. Mosiria chief officer, he says this, Devi bro, you see how that tactic went deployed yesterday worked. We will be hiring goons whenever there is a demo in the city too. Governor Sakaja answers by saying, it worked perfectly well. Nitakutumia M-Pesa upatie hao maboys for a job well done. Mosiria says, sawa bosi. Governor Sakaja says, even the PR of taking care of Ojwang's son school fees was well received. The VP anasema, yeah, they can't associate us with the hiring of goons. Mosiria says, exactly. That's why I instructed them to vandalize litter bins because wananchi know I can't send people to do that. The VP anasema, hapo ulicheza sawa. Now that is a conversation that is currently catching the eye of a lot of Kenyans on social media. This was posted by one blogger, Coletta Aluda, who said Governor Sakaja congratulates his boys with every check for the good job during Albert Ojwang demonstrations on Thursday. Now, we all saw and we all agreed that that was not the Gen Z. Those were goons that had infiltrated the movement. And this is the same tactic they deployed during the Gen Z demonstration. The Gen Z were peaceful demonstrators, but goons were poured into the city. A scenario that unfolded this Thursday is where goons, after being dropped in town, they tried to invade Sarova's tunnel, the Sarova Hotel, the Stanley Sarova Hotel. But the security there was able to counter them. Apart from that, something else that has unfolded is the same day, these same goons tried to break into KCB Bank. Now tell me what damage these people would have caused if they had broken into KCB Bank. Yes, they were all goons. They were brought to try and infiltrate the movement. And we all saw that because the young men and women who came out to demonstrate earlier before the goons came in were just carrying flags, water, and masks, nothing more. And you could tell because these are faces that we had seen several times during the Gen Z demonstration. And they were calling for action to be taken against DIG Langat. Now, Gauchos Goons were the ones that infiltrated the movement. Mosiria, according to Coletta Aluda, and Governor Sakaja were all a plot of this. But let me ask, what do they gain from this? Let me tell you how this city works. If the city is vandalized, remember during the Gen Z demonstration, it was claimed that the Nairobi Expressway had been destroyed. And the then Cabinet Secretary of Transport, Kipchumba Murkomen, asked for over 100 million to repair just a small section of the said the expressway. It's the same thing with Nairobi town. Once vandalization has taken place, then now the governor can draw another bill seeking budget to restore the city to its normalcy and continue improving the city. And through that, tenders come in flowing towards him and towards his officials that are loyal to him. And that is why you cannot refute these according to how it has been brought out. So kumbe Sakaja na Mosiria walikuwa kimoja na Gaucho. Wewe mtazamaji, maoni yako ni yapi haswa kulingana na ujumbe huu na taarifa hizi? Achia comment kwenye comment section. Tuungane katika video zetu zijazo. Hii ni The Kenyan Daily Report.